J.J. Abrams is returning to Star Wars for Episode 9, but can he stick the landing? More Star Wars news dropped this morning, and we finally know who will be wrapping up the sequel trilogy. It's the man who first kicked things off, J.J. Abrams.
This is great.
Now, The Force Awakens director has been called in to head Episode 9, completing the now familiar Lucasfilm cycle of choose director, fire director, replace director with the safest possible choice.
He must not know.
Right.
The announcement was made just a day after The Last Jedi director Rian Johnson ruled himself out as a Colin Trevorrow replacement, saying that it was never part of the plan for him to continue after Episode 8 and that he was looking forward to being an audience member for the next installment of the franchise. But as with the best of controversies, this one has gifted us with a whole new set of JJ Star Wars tweets and memes, with the required lens flare joke thrown in. But really, it seems like the general internet reaction to JJ being the choice to close out the sequels is split. Many feel that it's Disney looking for stability, which most certainly seems to be the case as JJ comes with the track record of having already pulled off a successful relaunching. Plus, he already has a rapport with the cast, has proven he can meet a deadline, and knows the storied territory of the sequels since he helped lay that foundation. However, the other side of the fan base is the same side that's not too keen on JJ stepping into the director's chair again. In fact, many were eager to see where the franchise would go after his first installment because they were looking for a fresh take that would diverge from the template of the original trilogy. One of the biggest criticisms of The Force Awakens was that its story was too much like A New Hope. Another concern fans have is whether or not JJ can stick the landing, considering his track record with closing out stories. When we take a look back at other JJ-led projects, we see that he is notorious for getting franchises on the board, setting up a bunch of really cool pieces, and then leaving those pieces for somebody else to figure out. One of the biggest examples of JJ opening the mystery box and then piecing out when it came time to explain what's inside was Lost. Now, the Star Wars sequels were in a similar place when Rian Johnson started work on Episode 8. We had major questions about key characters that were left completely unanswered, like Rey's parentage and who the hell Snoke is. Rian has said that there was no set roadmap, so we're not even sure JJ knew the answers to some of the biggest mysteries that he set up. And when he has been the one to finish what he started, the results were iffy. Felicity and Alias had endings that felt forced and not entirely in line with the tones of those respective series, and Star Trek Into Darkness also veered off tonally from what he had laid down in the 2009 installment of that reboot. So, what will JJ do for Star Wars this time around? Like we said before, if we look at his first entry, it was basically A New Hope with new faces, and maybe the influences of the original trilogies is something that no director can resist, because from what we've already learned about The Last Jedi, Rian Johnson also seems to have unconsciously rehashed some key elements of The Empire Strikes Back. In terms of story arc, there's a reason why redemption typically happens in the third act, so honestly, we don't expect JJ to veer too far from the redemptive arc of Return of the Jedi. Kylo will likely be the one to redeem himself, the team will have to destroy yet another superweapon, the murder planet, the mega moon killer, the galactic guillotine, whatever the next Death Star ends up being called, and they'll probably take a trip back to Jakku. But as to whether Episode 9 will tread familiar territory or strike out on its own, we do have some hope that JJ's Star Wars street cred has earned him some artistic story points to be able to sneak some bold choices into the film. And even without all the directorial musical chairs that we've had this summer, if we had to pick between Colin Trevorrow and JJ, sorry Colin, but we'd go with JJ to end the sequels.
J.J. Abrams!
But what do you folks think? Will JJ stick the landing? Do we need an Ewok analog in Episode 9, or will the Porgs be enough? And what's in the mystery box? What's in the box? Let's discuss. And do you find yourself wondering if tech billionaire and possible evil supervillain Elon Musk is actually a time traveler sent back to our world to stop the robot uprising? Then Muskwatch is the show for you. Dan and Kyle break down all of the latest technology news from SpaceX, Tesla, the Hyperloop, and his personal army of venomous bats. Check it out every Tuesday on Nerdist YouTube and ProjectAlpha.com, and be sure to like and subscribe.